Hi guys, so for today's video I'm going to be doing a book haul. I am working with book of the month for this particular book haul, so I'm going to start with the book of the month picks and then I'll be jumping into some more of the books I've gotten recently. Book of the month is a super popular and fast growing online book service for readers with a mission to promote new and emerging authors and help readers discover books they'll love. Their selection includes powerful nonfiction, hard-hitting fiction, horror and thriller books, cute love stories, as well as, of course, fantasy. Their team vets hundreds of books each month and gives readers their choice from a curated selection of new and early release titles that you can spend more time reading and less time researching. It's also risk-free. You can skip any month, anytime, and you won't be charged. And speaking of being charged, you can get your first book for just $9.99 with the code in the description bar down below. For our July picks, we'll start with 56 Days, which is a thriller about a couple that moves in together during lockdown, and then now one of them is dead. Next up, we have We Are the Brennans, which is a family drama that explores the staying power of shame and the redemptive power of love in an Irish Catholic family torn apart by secrets. Next up is one that my husband and I are planning to buddy read. That would be Razorblade Tears. It's a story about two ex-cons with little in common other than a criminal past and a love for their dead sons, and they band together in their desperate desire for revenge. We also have a historical fiction pick for this month, which would be Sisters in Arms. It explores the untold story of what life was like for the only all-black female U.S. battalion to be deployed during World War II. And last for this month, we have The People We Keep. This is lyrical, unflinching, and is for anyone who has ever yearned for the fierce power of found family or to grasp the profound beauty of choosing to belong. Definitely let me know which one you would pick of these five. I think 56 Days sounds really fun. My mom and I read The Maidens, which is a thriller pick from last month, and really enjoyed it. She really loves thrillers. And then, like I said, my husband and I are definitely very interested in Razorblade Tears. Not really sure which one Luna's most interested in, but if you would like to try Book of the Month, you can use my code Elliot to get your first book for $9.99. Jumping into the non-Book of the Month books that I've picked up recently. The first one I'll start with would be The Firekeeper's Daughter. I was actually really excited because I found this at my local used bookstore. So I have two that I'm always going to anytime I mention going to my local used bookstores, which I do often in book hauls or in vlogs, I'm either referring to the store changing hands or Bookman's. Bookman's is the one that I got this at, but the reason I was so excited is because typically Bookman's has used books and then occasionally they'll have new books come in. You can use your store credit on anything in the store, and I was so excited when I saw this because usually when they have newer books in, I just don't think it's usually, they're usually like the really, really popular ones, or it's something that's popular but it's been a little while. And so I was actually really surprised to find this one in there. And it says at the bottom of the description, because the synopsis is a bit long, it says Firekeeper's Daughter is an electrifying thriller layered in a rich exploration of the modern Native experience, a reckoning of current and historical injustices, and a powerful celebration of community. I've been hearing phenomenal things about this one, and So I haven't really mentioned this very much, if at all, on my channel, but many of you know probably from hearing me say it from time to time that I'm half Cuban on my mother's side, but on my father's side, I am part Native American, and just how much, I don't really know, but enough where my dad would get so excited whenever the Choctaw is the specific Native American that I am, they would send sometimes little calendars and stuff. He was always so excited. I've mentioned before that my father grew up very, very poor, and so he didn't really know anyone outside his immediate family very well. He just knew that he had family back in Oklahoma, and after he passed away, and kind of recently, I was looking a little bit more into his side of the family or what I could find. And I actually did find a lot of the Native American side from the records of the cemetery, the Native American records. So I don't know. I've just, I guess, been craving getting to read. I know not all, of course, Indigenous peoples are the same, but I just have been kind of craving that in my stories. I picked up a Lotso a little bit ago, which is also having Native American inspiration. Once again, not Choctaw, but either way, that one leaned a little bit young. Most of you know I read a mix of adult and young adult with the occasional middle grade, but not very often, and that one leaned, it felt like to me, a little bit young, so it wasn't necessarily to my particular taste that I have at this time in my life. This one sounds like it's going to be maybe a little bit more mature than that one, so either way, regardless of all of that, I'm just really excited. I've heard really great things about this one. Also, from that same used bookstore, I have been enjoying the memoirs that I've picked up this year, and I have been wanting to pick up the book All Boys Aren't Blue. I've heard great things about this one also, but this one I just haven't been able to find. And then I think because of Pride Month, I know that because of Pride Month, they had gotten this one in, and they had a whole display table of kind of Pride Month picks. And so I saw this one and I was like, oh, finally, because it was just, I've been looking for this one for a while. It also was newer, but I had store credit, so technically I got both of those for free, which was great. Next up, I have mentioned this in a TBR, so you might have seen this, but I did pick it up recently. That would be the Ikasar Falcon. This is the second book after The Wolf of Oren Yaru. So I read The Wolf of Oren Yaru in a day, and I was like, I quite like that. I want the next one, and I just immediately ordered this one. So, actually, that's a lie. I didn't order it. The next day, I texted my husband. I was like, when he was at work, I was like, do you want to go to the bookstore with me? And he was like, of course, because he always wants to go with me to the bookstore. And I went to, not my local used bookstore. I knew they probably wouldn't have this one in, but I went to Barnes & Noble and found this one. The first book, if you're wondering, follows a single point of view, first person. It is adult fantasy, follows a queen who is a little bit different from your typical queen protagonist in that she is married, she has a child, and her husband and her, you don't know why, but they are currently separated. And she hasn't spoken to him in 5 years. You know that he left, and the story kind of gets going when she has the opportunity to meet with him again. This is very significant, one, because it's the father of her child. It's also the person she's supposed to be ruling alongside. Their marriage is very important for the peace to be kept, and also she has a bunch of warlords constantly bickering and butting heads, trying to attain power. So she could use his help, but at the same time she's like, I kind of don't want his help because he left. And you're like, what's going on? What happened between them? So like I said, I read the first book in a day. I'm very interested to know what happens next. Next up, we have The Deepest Blue. This is a companion story to the Queens of Renthia trilogy. I read that trilogy last year, and overall, I was a little disappointed with how the trilogy wrapped up. It felt like in some areas, the author was kind of opening up doors to continuations or side novels, and I actually did a whole video comparing trilogies and duologies, and one point I made was that it seems like trilogies often leave these openings so that there can be these off to the side stories, and that's definitely true of this trilogy. But when I mentioned a few different times that I overall really enjoyed that trilogy, quite a few people said, check out the standalone. It's really good. The companion novel's great. Some people have said they liked it even more than any of the books in the original trilogy, so I went ahead and picked it up. And also, I'm sure most of you have heard me talk about Queens of Renthia, but if you haven't, it is a very interesting forest setting where the forest has these spirits that help the forest grow and keep it alive, but at the same time their instincts to protect the forest lead them to harm humans, but humans live within the forest. It's a very vibrant forest setting, so if that sounds like your thing, it is adult fantasy, but it's fantastic for if you usually read YA and you're wanting to read adult, or if you just need a easier story to get through, but that is still adult. I would definitely recommend that one. Next up is a book I just heard about the other day, and then as soon as I heard about it, I was like, what's this? I want it. I want it now. And that would be the Atlas 6. So first off, I love this cover. That was the first thing. I was like, I hope that I think this book sounds interesting because that cover looks amazing. So Piera, who most of you probably know, Piera Ford, on her Instagram stories, she always does fantastic. She'll let you know her rating for a book that she's reading, and she gives very brief little bullet points of her thoughts. And she really liked this one. She said it was her favorite thing that she's read this year, I believe. I'm sorry, Piera, if I'm misrepresenting what you said. But she was saying something along those lines. I DM'd her about the book. And I was like, okay, well, before Flamefall had the throne here, right? It had the crown for best book, I feel like, that she had read this year. She had really liked that one. So I'm like, okay, is this one better? Are you saying it's better than Flamefall? I don't know if I will think it's better than Flamefall, because you all know how I feel about that book. But either way, there was a lot of things about this that sounded really good. Apparently, the plot is a little meandering and it's very character focused. And I was like, okay, that sounds good to me. And it's dark academia, kind of cutthroat competition type story, and I was like, that sounds great. And then last but definitely not least, we have our beautiful LitJoy crate edition of Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares. It comes in this beautiful box, and then these are the books right here. I did do a whole video of unboxing this if you would like to see these in a little more detail. They're stunning, especially I'm such a sucker for the backs of them. It's printed right on the hardback, it's annotated, there's illustrations, it has beautiful silver edges. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And it came with an art print and a little adorable bookmark also. So I love Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares a lot, and I'm so excited to have this edition. But like I said, I have a whole video unboxing this, so if you'd like to see that, I'll have it linked down below. This is goofy, but I know a lot of you also really enjoy video games like I do, and I recently got this t-shirt from GameStop, and I got an extra large because I like really giant t-shirts, so it's basically a dress on me, but it was on sale for less than $8, I believe. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. If any of you are in the market for a new video game themed t-shirt, this one's great. That's it though. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in Book of the Month, I'll have it linked down below. You can use the code Elliot to get your first book for $9.99. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.